You know, I think this winter a lot of us are going to have to come to terms with withdrawal, surrender, and defeat. We're going to have to come to terms with it. It's going to be difficult. Let's start with withdrawal. A lot of us know we should have withdrawn from a lot of things a long time ago. So this notion that we finally gotten around to withdraw from things, of the three of those things, withdrawal will probably be the easiest. Because a lot of us know that we should withdraw. And a withdrawal is leaving something behind. Look, the one criticism that sticks with Americans is we have too much junk clutter. We all know that we're all hoarders. Gluttony. We're going to have to withdraw. Literally, leave shit behind. Everybody is talking about Afghanistan and that withdrawal of our troops from Afghanistan. That's how people are. They talk about the beginning and the end, as though there was no story in between the beginning and the end. For 20 years, America was in Afghanistan, losing service members each year, whether it be to enemy combatants, accidents, friendly fire, suicide, mental health, PTSD. Think about how many service members we lost over the course of 20 years. People remember the beginning and the end, but they never talk about what happens in between. That's just as important. So in the beginning, you're like, oh yeah, we're winning, we're bombing, we're killing a lot of bad guys, so they say. But then as it goes on and on and on and on, a certain type of fatigue takes place. You start to see the losses pile up. And the jubilance of the beginning is no longer the sentiment in the present. A withdrawal is not easy. When people give up a substance that they're abusing, there's generally a body effect. Your body is used to that substance and it wants it. and you're trying to clear your system of it. A withdrawal. So it's a complicated and tumultuous process, both externally and internally. But of all three of these, withdrawal, surrender, and admitting defeat, withdrawal is probably the easiest. Then we have surrender. Now, surrender is a negative in our common society and lexicon. Surrender we seem to think of as weakness. But there's a lot of things we surrender to. We surrender to sleep. And those who don't, where you see the abnormality that it creates. Surrendering to something that's, well, let's put it this way, necessary. Is how you objectively look at it. Just like withdrawal. So these are looked at as negative concepts. Because it's a change. And defeat. Nobody likes losing. Let me preface this. Nobody enjoys losing. But you've heard the phrase time and time again, you win some, you lose some. You know what really nobody enjoys? A sore loser. It was really bad, the example your former leader gave to the nation. To lose and then to become a sore loser. Because now it's set a precedent in American society that losing is not a part of the universal norms and expectations. Look, loss happens. How many things have you lost? Everybody has lost something. How you process losing is up to the individual. But I know I despise sore losers with a passion. If you lose, you should lose graciously. If someone or something defeats you, it defeated you. It is what it is. Folks want to make it more complicated than what it is. They really do. Well, you hear this. I'm not used to losing. first off, I don't necessarily think that that's true. The people that say it are not used to losing. One, I would think, are they cheating? And that's why they're not accustomed to losing. You know, if you're cheating, you're really losing, but you're cheating someone else on the back end. And let's face it, that happens a lot in America. A lot of people cheat other people and said they got ahead. Look at the hard work I did. I'm like, bullshit. How many people did you defraud? Now, this is what's odd this season to me. I'll let you be the judge. Let's use Theranos ex-CEO Elizabeth Holmes as an example. She was recently convicted and found guilty of defrauding investors, aka wealthy Americans. Now, these same people defraud Americans. And they don't go to jail. But when they get defrauded, they put you in jail. Interesting. And if you think I'm exaggerating, I'm not. Rick Scott, the Republican senator from Florida, the chairman of, I believe, the Republican Senatorial Campaign Committee, he defrauded so many millions of Americans. You know, the Department of Justice lodged the largest settlement for a pharmaceutical company in American history. They had to pay $840 million. Almost $1 billion. And basically what his healthcare company that he started was doing was charging and building Medicare and Medicaid for procedures and tests that they didn't service. Now, Rick Scott didn't spend a day in prison. He's actually in the United States Senate. Probably continuing to defraud the American people, one would argue. I mean, how much money did they spend? Think about this. They raised $50 million and spent $50 million on attacking transgender youth. Now, do you really think that it costs $50 million to attack transgender youth in our society? No. So I would venture to guess that a large portion of that money that they raised and claimed they spent went into their pocket, their bank account. $840 million settlement by the Department of Justice. The Columbia HCA had to pay. Rick didn't spend a day in jail, but yet Elizabeth Holmes, 11 3/4 years in prison. I'm telling you. defeat. We can all see it. First is the spirit. And it really seems like the spirit is defeated. It really does. I mean, it's not like Americans have done anything to elevate their spirit. You know, when adversaries of this country really look on, they're kind of scratching their head like, wait a minute. It's not like you Americans helped yourself in this defeat. In fact, they say that we sped up the process. And they're not lying. I talked about the photo of Jerry Jones from 1957. And he said he was a curious youth at the time. And me being me, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I said, yes, this might be true. He didn't look menacing in the photo, even though the photo was very dark. You just got a dark aura from the photo. He didn't look menacing. So I said, okay, he might have been confused. Imagine me giving a Babylonian the benefit of the doubt, but I did. Now, what's happened in the intervening years, though? I can give somebody 15 a pass. I'm not going to go hard on a 15-year-old. That's what Americans do. Really, you lock up youth. You build youth prison facilities. And lock up youth for years and years. For doing things that grown adults do in suits and ties. But that's a story for a different day. Anyway, what's happened in the intervening years between 15 and 63? Because now we're 63 years removed from 1957. Somebody will say a lot has changed. Yes, you're right. A lot has changed. Some people got sicker as they grew older. Shocking. And you've heard the phrase, the more things change, the more they remain the same. Oh my goodness, who would have thought to say such a novel and insane thing? But then when you think about it, all the youth who were standing in front of that school, blocking the school, you want to take a venture to guess how many of them have homes? How many of them have been police officers, firefighters, paramedics, joined the military, got GI loans? Take a guess. I don't know the answer, but I would imagine a lot. Jerry Jones, the curious youth, he's done well for himself. The owner of the Dallas Cowboys, America's football team. He's done quite well. He's got a private helicopter. Oh my goodness. living large and bold. He made it. He lived the American dream. For 63 years, Americans, you've been bullshitting. And now we've got to admit something. We've got to admit defeat. We defeated ourselves. It wasn't some foreign adversary. Then people say, oh, well, adversaries have meddled in our affairs. There's not a country on this planet that we haven't meddled in their affairs. So I'm not going to shed too many tears if countries meddle in our affairs, when we meddle in everyone else's affairs. It doesn't mean that I like it. No. People should mind their own business. But everybody is like, America never minded its own business. It started coups in other nations. And then what do you know? They say karma is a bitch. I don't really like that terminology, but it's true. We reaped what we sowed. You know, they said America doesn't do coups, but January 6th was a coup. You know, I'm going to put it to you like this, and it's going to be easy to explain. "2020 and COVID was rough. But 2022, oh baby boo. All that hate that you all have been serving up on a platter, it's getting returned to the sender. Oh yes, that's what's happening now. What goes around comes back around. That's why I said America is going first. The lunatic from Mar-a-Lago is right. America first. Everybody's waiting. Oh, we're going first. Yes. First. And this withdrawal, let's go back to the withdrawal. Don't try and say withdrawal is a bad thing. Please don't. Surrender, I'll give you a little bit. But we surrender to a lot of things. We've surrendered to bullshit for 63 years. Jerry Jones said, I want to be the first in line for diversity. You think about that. For 63 years, this man has bullshitted you. See, this is the problem with Americans. Americans live in a bubble and think nobody else knows what the fuck goes on in our country. Everyone knows what the fuck goes on in our country. Everyone. It's like if America was a TV set, everyone gets on the couch and watches. I'm telling you, it's true. It's amazing. People know more than I do. They be telling me stories. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you. The stories I hear. And they say it with a straight face, so it implies that they're not lying. They could be lying, but why would they? They say, does this sound believable? And I say, yeah. Based off of what I know, it sounds highly plausible. Look at the bullshit cockamamie that Gary Jones had to say. I'm going to be first in line for diversity. See, this is where it gets ridiculous. This is where it becomes a joke. Everybody's laughing at us. It's humiliating, but not really, because we've been a bully for so long. We bully other people, and we bully Americans. Americans, you bully other Americans. That's something a lot of people say. When they come here, they say we get bullied. And they go back home and tell their families, this is what happens to us in America. And their families go, yeah, we're not surprised. So people know. You know, I'm embarrassed of the title American. It translates to savage. This is how Americans are acting outside. Have you seen it? 600 mass shootings for the third straight year. Now, I know Americans have conditioned themselves to think this is normal. Oh yeah, it's normal to go to a restaurant and get shot up. Go to a movie theater and get shot up. Go inside a church and get shot up. It's normal. It's American. I know. But everybody else is like, yeah. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Crazy. Elevator doesn't go up to the top. Insane. Savage. Barbarian. Heathen. Demonic. They say that about all Americans. I know Americans love to fight over here and say, you know, I'm Christian. I'm more moral than you Satanists. But everybody else just scoffs at that and says, oh, what a joke. A barbarian calling another barbarian savage. I tend to agree. 600 mass shootings. And a note on that, most of these, if not all of them, are done by men. Men are the main people who tell you they're pro-life, right? They're against child murder and sacrifice. Yet, how many wars have they fought in America alone? Men. How many wars have you started in this country? I think about every nation has been invaded by America. The pro-life men have killed a lot of children. Nobody wants to talk about that. They want to talk about women and the OBGYN office. But they don't want to talk about Parliament and Congress and the Knesset, where men make laws and rules to go to war with each other. They don't want to talk about the Kremlin. "63 years of bullshit. Nobody's going to talk about surrender being a bad thing, really. It's objective in how you look at it. Defeat. This one is the bitter pill to swallow when you're defeated. You can choose to lose graciously, or you can choose to be a sore loser. Nowadays, it seems like far-right conservatives, aka Nazis, when they lose elections, they whine like little babies. Everybody says put the pacifier in the mouth, so we don't have to hear them whining. The lunatic from Mar-a-Lago lost, and he starts whining and complaining. Carrie Lake in Arizona lost, and she starts stomping her feet, saying, "I'm not going to concede." Now, when you're defeated, my philosophy has always been lose graciously. That's always been my philosophy, and it's been detrimental and painful. But there's no sense in being a sore loser. You still lost. It doesn't change the outcome. It doesn't change the outcome. How you decide to react to the circumstance. Is that too difficult for people to understand? Americans want to change the outcome, but their reaction to the circumstance has been preposterous, to say the least. People will say, "Oh, this is an indictment of America." No, it's an indictment of the West. It's an indictment of the West. You got 11.1% inflation in London. Inflation is running high everywhere across the planet. But there's a lot of people that didn't have anything to begin with. And when the West did have a lot, were they generous? That's not a trick question. Were they generous? You know, they say to whom much is given, much is expected in return. Was the West generous to the rest? I saw the headline. I saw it. They said it's the West versus the rest. Well, wasn't it always that way, really? Interesting how you write headlines as you see the direction shift and try to contort it into a way where it's sympathetic to a narrative that didn't exist. The West versus the rest. You know what they're saying? They're saying the rest wants to starve out the West. And the West has been very generous and gracious to developing nations. I hear this bullshit. Half of the world lives on less than $2 a day, $2 US a day. Children have been going hungry, starving. And these bastards, have they been generous? Now that it's affecting the West, now we start to hear the stories of it. But other countries been experiencing this, been aware of it. Defeat. You know, losing is not the end of the world. I know some people are going to spin it that way. And people say that. They say losing is not the end of the world. And it's not. They're telling the truth. Americans are going to pretend and act like losing is everything. You're going to see them act out, misbehave, even more than what they're doing. Now, with that being said, what are we losing? Well, that hasn't necessarily been determined. You know, if everybody was against the West, how come they haven't determined not to give you anything? So try not to listen to these naysayers, these sore losers. Because in a lot of ways, they got us in this situation. They got us riding the struggle bus. Their mismanagement, their greed, their reckless behavior towards the planet, they got us in the struggle bus. I'm not going to listen to the person who got me in the struggle bus. Tell me about how they can fix the situation. Jerry Jones has had 63 years. I'm not listening to a damn thing he's got left to say. At the end of the day, actions speak louder than words. All I hear is bullshit. Blah, 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 blah. That's all anyone hears is bullshit. And people are tired of hearing it. And I don't blame them. Now, I'm not going to suggest any type of withdrawal or surrender, or even acknowledge a defeat at this point. However, all of those things are inevitable. Whether we want to acknowledge it or not, it's inevitable. You saying you don't want to acknowledge that the sun is going to come up tomorrow and set tomorrow night is irrelevant to it happening. That's another thing I don't think people understand. You believing in something. Can you believe this? I said this is ludicrous, this terminology. Somebody said, well, this person believes in climate change. And the person I was standing next to said, please, stop that. Don't use the word believe in climate change. This person said, it doesn't matter whether you believe in climate change or not. It's occurring. It doesn't process on your consent. You get what I'm saying? The sun is not consented on whether you agree that it's there or not. What are we doing here? There's people that believe the earth is flat. Oh, yeah. I mean, does their belief that the earth is flat make it flat because they believe it? So whether you acknowledge something that's inevitable happening or not, it doesn't change the fact that it will. Oh, there's one more month left in this year. One more month left in this year. Who wants to venture to guess? And raise your hands. You don't have to do this where I see it. Raise your hands. If you want to venture to guess with one more month after 63 years of bullshitting, that the Americans are going to magically come to some kind of realization that they've been bullshitting and do what they need to do to stop bullshitting. Who wants to raise their hands to this? I'm calling it the Christmas miracle. Oh, seeing no hands, no one believes it. Okay, I didn't raise my hand either. Everybody's just circling the next day. They're waiting. Tomorrow, another day will go by, and they won't do jack shit. The day after, another day will go by, and we'll get closer and closer to the end of the year. Now, if we hit the end of the year, and we're still bullshitting on January 1st of 2023, oh baby, buckle up your seatbelt. Oh, maybe you don't even have to wear a seatbelt. You won't need a seatbelt. So everybody's just circling the day, knowing that more and more days are going by. I'm just sitting here watching bullshit. People continuing to bullshit. Saying outlandishly crazy bullshit at this point. But doing absolutely the same thing they've been doing for 63 years, which is nothing. Remember, talk is cheap. A lot of people have come along and done a lot of talking. And nothing has fundamentally changed. And now we have this whole notion of diversity. Jerry Jones said, I want to be the first in line for diversity. 63 years. 15 you can forgive. 63, come on. It's a bit of a stretch. And that's symbolic of America in a nutshell. They've been wasting time. And now that it's the last minute in the game, who do you think they want to blame? Anybody but themselves. This was like a sports team that's been bullshitting the entire game. And miraculously, they're only down by maybe a touchdown. We'll use football. They're down by 7 points. They haven't scored anything in the entire game. But their defense has been relatively good. We all know why your defense has been good. And now with 1 minute left to go, they want to come up with all of these trick plays and bullshit. And the rest of us are going, well, it's only a minute left. Let's see what the bullshit is going to be like for the last 60 seconds. Because you know that's what it's going to be, right? Bullshit. Oh. First and foremost, the reason I don't believe it's going to happen is because I know Americans. They don't do what they need to do. So that would be my first reason and rationale as to why I don't believe it's going to happen. Now you say there has been times when Americans have done it. That's relative. On closer examination, there was always some kind of motive that was a little bit insidious as to why. In some cases, when they've done the right thing, they were dragged into it. Kicking and screaming like a little petulant child. And those would be the moments they point to and highlight and say, look, we did something great. Look, they don't even have 60 seconds left. Everybody knows that at this point. There's less than 60 days left in this year. So if you transpose days with seconds, it's not even 60 seconds left. So they don't have much more time to bullshit before they go first. They're going to be first in line. And when I say they, with regret and tragedy, I too am an American. You know, they say they love the house. But nemesis are nemesis. And they're like, don't take it personally. And I never do. I never do. Americans continue to bullshit. Is the moral of this story. As long as we continue to bullshit, we might as well admit defeat. We might as well surrender. We might as well withdraw. You're not going to do anything besides bullshit anyway. Somebody will say, oh, I want to do something. Wanting to and actually doing something is two different things. Let's make that clear. Let me repeat that. Wanting to do something and actually doing something is two very different things. I want to have a pet sanctuary. Does it look like I'm working towards having a pet sanctuary because I want to have it? What's the matter with people? I want to do something. And literally they ain't doing shit. I'm going to use that example. I'm going to say, I wanted to have a pet sanctuary. And they're going to say, did you do anything to get that moving, get the ball rolling? No. Okay, next. Don't tell me about what you want. Nobody listens to what people want. I wanted to have this. I wanted to do this. Speaking in the past tense too. When we're in the present. That also gives me the impression that they really don't want to do it. If I say I want to have a pet sanctuary, and I'm still here, able to have a pet sanctuary, and I just constantly say it, but I don't do anything, do I really want it then? So let's not play that game either. That I want to do something. No. I don't want to play that game. Look, I don't think there's going to be any Christmas miracle. I'm going to be honest with you. Americans are too stubborn and too stupid. They want to go first. Now, I don't know who ever wants to go first in anything. I never did. I wanted to go last. You know, if you go first, everybody gets to watch you probably lose. I mean, you could go first and win. It's possible. Never seen it happen before. Ever. And when I say ever, I mean ever. You know of any ancient that went first and won? Even the wise ancients didn't say go first. But we're hell-bent on going first, so we're going to go first. A couple more days left, and I don't expect Americans to do the right thing. I never do. I'm not counting on it. No. I have some housekeeping things that I want to give away to some folks. Unlike the greedy individuals who won't be giving anything out this Christmas, I wanted to give some things out. Presents. Because some people have been good. Amazing. I know. This is crazy. Some of you are really putting up a fight. Now, when I said that, even some of your detractors had to say, yes, this is true. It didn't really catch anybody by surprise, really. I mean, you've had quite a bit of help and assistance. But your detractors and your nemesis, whilst they're happy, it just ain't cutting it. But I wanted to say thank you. They're a bunch of haters. They really are. They're a bunch of haters. But I wanted to say thank you. So I'm going to say thank you to some of you. Keyword, some of you. Withdrawal and surrender and defeat. A common question I get asked is, emotionally, what do I feel about it? This is tricky. When you know folks have wasted time, purposefully wasted a lot of time, doing nothing. And I constitute doing nothing as having trivial, remedial, and repetitive, ludicrous arguments that go nowhere. That's time wasting. And boy, are we good with time wasting. Well, would you look at the time, 63 years have gone by, and Jerry Jones is still bullshitting. Hello. They say democracy dies in darkness. The Washington Post. For those of you who are not aware, it's breaking news. The Washington Post has unearthed a 1957 photo of Jerry Jones in Little Rock, Arkansas. Jerry Jones is the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, America's football team. And in the photo, a large group of Anglo-Saxon white males are blocking a school entrance from 9 African American youth. They are clearly and visibly bullying the 9 African American students. Has anybody read the 1619 Project? Has Jerry Jones read it? I don't know. People on high society, they don't read that much. That's a problem too. Story for a different time. Because folks should really read more. I really find that people who read a lot, they kind of know. It's kind of set in. It's the folks that don't read. The news hasn't settled in yet. Ooh. I'm not prepared to surrender, withdraw, or admit defeat, but it's inevitable. What I'm not going to do, however, is placate to any more bullshit. So please, if folks in these last few days want to bullshit you, I grant you permission to return that energy right back to them in these last few days. You know, I'm going to do this, and you're going to listen to me. I'm a little sick of it now. A lot of us are. And with a few days left to go, I got nothing to lose. I know surrender and withdrawal and defeat are inevitable. So guess who my priority is going to be? My nemesis? Oh no. Why would my priority be my nemesis? They defeated me fair and square. No, it's going to be towards the bullshitters. Oh, I'm going to enjoy this. Get the popcorn. You know, a lot more of this shit is going to come out. Real talk. People are sick of it. You know, even when Americans are sick of bullshit, you know bullshit is bullshit. Oh yeah, we got nothing left now. We're all circling the calendar days. We all know who's responsible for this bullshit. Here they go wanting to blame the Chinese. It's China. It's Russia. Are you shitting me? Everybody but you. We're supposed to look everywhere but the obvious. No, you can do that to some fucking idiots. You're not going to bullshit me. And these last few days, in this last little time we have together, all December, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a white horse sleigh. All these last few days, we're going to have some Christmas cheer. Now, aren't we? This is going to be a Christmas like no other because it's going to be our last Christmas. Oh, I'm going to miss some of you. That's why I'm sending some of you gifts. Somebody's going to say it. I'm playing Grinch. No, you've been playing Grinch. I'm going to play Grinch because you've been playing Grinch. We're all going to be Grinch. That's fucking projection. And the bastards who see this, they know it. Don't try to project that shit on me. I'm playing Grinch. No, this has been your thing. This has been your project. Your experiment. Imagine that. Americans don't like their experiment. We the people, Jeffersonian democracy, all that bullshit. And then who do they have to look up and see and save democracy? Oh, the people that democracy wasn't even intended for. Saved it. Do you see why it's become a laughingstock? Everybody knows this. They're saying women save democracy. Oh, you mean the women that you wouldn't allow to vote? The women that you took away their bodily autonomy from? Those women, they saved democracy? What were they going to replace democracy with? Fascism? Oh, they haven't been running a fascist regime all this time? That's shocking. That's news to me. Oh, they call it capitalism? Oh, okay. I see. Not to be confused with fascism or Nazism. I see. I see. All that hate is going to be returned to the sender. Okay? Who's ready to open that gift up in the mail? Anybody see Reindeer Games? Hell of a movie. Hell of a movie. At the very end, he gave the money away, started stuffing it in mailboxes. It was more trouble than what it was worth. The money. Can you imagine money being more trouble than what it's worth? Oh, I can imagine it. 11.1% inflation in London. You think it's going to stop there? Oh no, baby. No, no, no. We all know. I'm ready to be the first in line for diversity. Man, I'm telling you. Frustration doesn't even begin to tell you. When you've had to put up with this shit, when you've had to be in it, other people get to view it from a distance and they've suffered. I tell people, you have no idea what it's like to be in this shit. And they tell me, you have no idea what it's like to be near this shit. No. Everybody's sick of it now. So get a pen and circle the calendar dates. Because these shitters ain't gonna do jack shit. I'm not saving Christmas. I can't save Christmas. What? I'm going down with the ship too. Oh, shocking. Who's shocked? Americans, are you really shocked that everybody's gonna go down with the ship? These fuckers have you thinking some really crazy shit. Like certain Americans are gonna get out. Are you for real? Who's gonna take you goofy ass Americans? Nobody wants you. Nobody wants a goofy ass American. That's for sure. This is an insane asylum. That's why you're over here. Once the asylum gets shut down, that's it. Nobody wants crazy people running around in their country with COVID, sick, not wanting to wear a mask. I'm just going to tell you what they're going to say. Before they say it, I'm going to break the news to you. Nobody's expecting you to do jack shit. I'm not. No one is. Now, however, miracles do happen from time to time. If there is a Christmas miracle, it really will be a miracle. It won't be a fluke or because of me or anything, really. It'll be some type of weird quirk. It just happens. There's a 99.9999999% chance that that's not going to happen. I want to say 100% chance, but nothing's a certainty. So we'll watch and we'll see, and we'll circle off another day. I know one thing is for sure, Americans are still bullshitting with less than 60 days left to go. Still bullshit. So why would they stop at this point? I don't even think people hear how ridiculous the bullshit is. I have to repeat it to myself. To even acknowledge how stupid it sounds. I think a lot of people just tune it out and ignore it at this point. Ooh. It might get a little dicey. It might. What I would recommend is staying calm and carrying on. But as these days tick by, it's going to get dicey. Real dicey. Because everybody's going to know. It's going to start to settle in. People are going to start to say, we're going to surrender and withdraw. And other folks are going to want to say, no, 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 no. Like those bums that stormed the Capitol building. Everybody's just laughing at us. We're a bunch of damn fools. I want to say that that gave people the biggest joy I've ever seen who don't like us. Can you imagine if these bums stormed their own Capitol building? A bunch of bums. Real bums. I'm frustrated with the government. Really? You're frustrated with the government. They're frustrated with the government. We the people are frustrated with our government. Think about that. We the people are frustrated with our government. Hey, I thought we the people ran everything. If you're frustrated with the government, aren't you the government? See, that's some bullshit too. We the people. And then you want to blame the government. That's some straight up clown bullshittery. More jokes. More clownery. More bullshit. Hey, we don't have very much more time together. We might as well all get some popcorn and enjoy the bullshit that we're about to see for the rest of November and December. Oh, I predict that there's going to be some epic bullshit. Oh, epic bullshit. We might see the type of bullshit that we've never seen before. At least not in a long, long time. And by bullshit, I don't really necessarily mean only violence. I want people to understand and constitute that. You're going to see stuff like Jerry Jones. I was a curious youth at 15. What's he at 63? Is he still curious? I'm curious if he's still curious at 63. Is he curious about the racial income wealth gap? Is he curious about the unemployment rate. What's he curious about now? See, so we'll see more of this in December. But I guarantee you what you won't see. Action. Problems solved. Solutions. Tangibles. You won't see any of that because that's foreign. That's alien to Babylon. Problems. No, they just argue about things that they've been arguing about for centuries. Over and over and over again. New people come along and argue about the same thing. You're not going to see any solution, any tangibles, or any action. Strap yourself in for the bullshit. When we get to the middle of December, I want you to take note of this and remember. And by middle, I'm constituting that as December 15th and 16th because there's 31 days in December. For 31 days, we're going to have fun. I'm telling you. It's going to be a blast. Our goodbye together. When we get to around December 15th and 16th, you're not going to believe the bullshit you're going to hear. I already know. Oh, it's going to sound so flowery. They're going to douse it with so much perfume. And then when you start getting specific, like, when is this going to happen? You're going to start hearing, well, we're going to get it done real soon. And now I want you to understand that that's bullshit too, prior to hearing it. Real soon. Okay. I don't like the terminology real soon. And here's why. True story. So I'm waiting on a boat. And the boat driver is there. But not my boat driver. And I've been waiting there for a little bit and, enjoying the sight, taking in the air. 20 minutes goes by. And he's like, just now. Which is translation for any minute or real soon. Now, when I first got there, it was morning. The sun was just coming up. It's fucking pitch black. And this bastard is telling me just now. Nobody wants to hear real soon. When you got 14 days left in December to do something. So I want to preference that to tell you that that's what's coming. Oh, we're going to get it done. The Americans love to say this kind of shit. Well, just circle your days and get your popcorn and enjoy it. We all know it's coming. The bullshit. Brought to you in part by the Americans. Sponsored by High Society. Yeah, I might as well call the thing what it is. Everybody has a problem with Trump. But America, you made Donald Trump. You gave a clown all of that money. And he did some clown shit with it. Invite a clown, expect a circus. They love to try to act as though they don't know what's going on. I think that's an act. We're good at acting. They create monsters. And then go, look at Frankenstein. Frankenstein is a monster. You're the worst monster ever. Like, what are we doing here? Judging others? Really? So I said that about Jenna Ellis. She had the nerve to talk about souls being trapped in damnation for lack of believing in Jesus Christ. Oh boy. I told you, you're going to watch a lot of bullshit. Now, they've been playing the Christian card for centuries. This is a card they pull out when they know shit is bad. But this time, they don't know how bad shit really is. I do. This time, that card is not going to work. And the card goes like this. Everything they do is forgiven because they believe in Jesus Christ. Now, it's like a game that you play where you write the rules and you make up the rules as you play the game. This is a rule they wrote down on their card. Nobody else has ever seen this rule. Nobody abides by this rule besides them. And they swear that it's the truth. They swear by it. Because it's their rule. It's no one else's rule. It's their rule. So I'm going to let them have their rule. It's theirs. Oh no, I don't want to rain on anyone's parade. But just so you note it in your log, everyone, including me, laughs at this rule. You're really telling me that if you starve out people, oh, I told you I was going to go there. We haven't even hit December yet. I'm going to really punch hard. You're telling me in this rule, if you starve out people, if you torture people, if you murder people, if you genocide people, all you have to do is pick up the card that says, Jesus has forgiven me. And your soul is going to go to this place in the sky with a bearded man. With blonde hair and blue eyes. which story was it where somebody kissed someone and they turned into a frog? A toad? Okay. If I believe that story, I believe that one too. They're both true. Maybe they were both created by Walt Disney. Because it sounds like a Disney movie to me. They wrote a New Testament. I guess the old one was bullshit. The new one was bullshit. So now they have a New Testament. Have you heard the new rules by these fuckers? Here goes. Now they're saying it's not thou shalt not kill or murder. It's thou shalt not kill and murder straight heterosexual people. I guess in the New Testament or the old one it didn't distinguish. So now they're coming with a new one. Everybody's glad America is going first. Everybody. They're sick of it. Me too. Oh, yes. I even think that deep down inside, Americans are sick of it. They have to be at this point. This Babylonian son of a bitch had the nerve to talk about other souls being trapped. Hey, has America ever apologized for slavery? Does anybody know the answer to that? Has America ever apologized for slavery? Oh, what? Being gay is worse than, well, torturing millions of American citizens? Being gay is worse than lynching children, women, babies? Being gay is worse than burning and roasting human beings? Oh. There's not too much time left on the calendar, and I want to get everything in. I don't want to leave anything to the imagination. No, I suggest everybody mind their own fucking business these last few days. Let's try to have some enjoyment, shall we? We don't enjoy each other's company, so please remain socially isolated for your own safety. I highly recommend it. You don't have to wear a mask. The virus is gone, right? Oh wait, the virus is still here. But you can do whatever you want. It's your face. You know, they hate masks so much, but when they took the mask off, don't they look sad, depressed, angry? With a mask on, you don't see any of those emotions. People say, I wear a mask, I must be happy. Americans, you wear a mask too. Some of you don't. Does it make you happy or sad? A load of bullshit. But we're good at bullshitting. Don't worry, we don't have that many more days left. We're gonna go first. Yay, kids, we're gonna go first on the bus. Oh boy, we're gonna go first. America first. Everybody's sitting there saying, yes. Please, thank you. America first. Surrender and defeat. and withdrawal. I'm not a fan of any of those things. But it is what it is. I'm really surprised, and I'll say this, I'm really surprised at how long this lasted. I'm shocked. I'm really surprised. And at various times, it would have come apart had it not been for some quirk that bailed all of us out. But there's no more quirks to bail us out this time. Nope. I think we all know it. I think Americans know it. That's why you see them acting out. They know. We all know it. It's instinctive. Is it goodbye or good riddance? Who would write such a thing? Who would ask such a question? Is it goodbye or good riddance? Now, the person who would ask that is a jerk. That's the type of person that's been running the shit into the ground. Is it goodbye or good riddance? Maybe it's hasta la vista, bitch. A lot of folks like that don't give a damn anyway. Now trying to pretend that they do. Now they want to be about the thing. I'm a moral person. Oh, that bullshit. More of the same bullshit. I'm sitting here watching the regurgitation of old, stale bullshit. It's not like they haven't done this before. Ooh. I'm sending my gifts early because I want you to get them in the mail. I have some time to enjoy it. They'll do something with like 1 day left to go and say, here, we did it. I'm telling you, I'm not going to say what I'm going to say unless they do some bullshit like that. Now, think about this. If I'm putting the gifts in the mail at the beginning of December and you get them first or second week in December, you have time to enjoy it, right? If I give you a gift at the end of December, are you going to have any time to enjoy it? See, this is the kind of bullshit that they do. Waste 63 years and then wait to the last moment and say, I want to be first in line for diversity. We're the laughingstock of all the nations at this point. The ancients said it would be funny in the end. It really is funny. I'm sitting here cracking up laughing at this shit. And I don't even have a sense of humor that much, really, to tell you the truth. But I find this shit to be so funny. Every day is something new. Mike Lindell wants to be the chairman of the Republican Party. Ye wants to be president. Every day is something funny. It's funny, but in reality, it's sad and tragic that it's become a joke. It always was a joke, but now it's crystal clear and evident. So we're going to all sit back and watch the joke. America, we're going to go first. We're going first. I'm telling you. And to the citizenry concerning withdrawal, surrender, and defeat. Acknowledge it. Embrace it. And know that the country failed. The citizenry failed. It wasn't just the government. Jerry Jones is a private owner of a football team. You know, John Kennedy, the former president, the late great President John F. Kennedy, he said, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Have they asked their country, what can I do to solve any of the problems? No. Not that I'm aware of. They critique and criticize often everything, as though they haven't funded the way it operates. Talk about being a critic of a thing that you operate, you fund and control. What are we doing here? What kind of ludicrous nonsense is this shit? These folks control it. And now they're critics. Well, it's not my fault, it's this person's fault. It's not this person's fault, it's this person's fault. Can't make it up. I'm telling you. You just have to sit back and watch it. Oh, you're going to see the crazy. Ooh. December 1st, it's going to start like crazy. And as each day goes by, everybody's going to circle their calendar and just laugh a little bit more. They know that it's inevitable too. They know. By the time we get to the 15th and 16th of December, you're going to see some shit you've never seen before. It's going to be so funny. My advice to people watching around the world, start screen recording and recording everything on December 15th in America. You are going to see some hilarious productions. Some things you've never seen before. Oh, it's going to be humorous. The stories, the ridiculous, ludicrous stories that we're going to start hearing. I was a curious young man at 15. Yeah, I'm curious what 1957 in America was like in Little Rock, Arkansas, too. PBS, do a special. What was life like in Little Rock, Arkansas in 1957? Interview all Americans. They try to act like there's no 63-year-old people in the country. What, people die at 62? 63 is not that old. There's people on YouTube that are 65. What are we doing here? WTTW, go down to Little Rock, Arkansas, and interview people who lived in 1957. I'm curious to know, what was 1957 like in America? Everybody globally would like to know too. You know, they never told the Germans what was happening in America. Now the Germans would like to know. They said, please put it on your public broadcasting stations. The French want to know too. The Irish want to know. The Italians, they want to know. Everybody wants to know. What was life like in America in 1957? Jerry Jones said he was curious. I'm curious too. We might as well air some old production in these closing days. Black and white videos. You know? We might as well share the moments in time when we loved each other so much in America. Right? Isn't that what we've been told? The internet made Americans hate Americans. The internet. There was no internet in 1957. See, this is what irritates and frustrates people. They're sick of your bullshit. There was no internet in 1957. There was no internet in 1958. Oh, I wish I could. I wish I could. I'm on a platform that I don't own, so I cannot say it. But I wish I could say it. If we get to the end of December and I'm still here, I'm going to say it. There was no internet in 1965. In 1963, when Ruby Bridge was walking into that school, was there an internet? Was there an internet? No, there was no internet. So the internet didn't create hate. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, they didn't create hate. Americans have always hated each other. Remember, democracy dies in darkness, Washington Post. The paper of record, the New York Times. What the hell do you have in the National Archives? No, I'm going to get serious here. What the hell do you have in the National Archives? I think I'm going to send my finest people to do an investigation. See what's in those archives. What? The lunatic had classified documents in a tool shed by the pool. He said he declassified them. If he declassified them, how come none of us in America know what they are? How come they can't even reveal how they are so top secret that they can't even share it in the courtroom? They're declassified, right? More bullshit. We want to see what's in the National Archives. Jerry Jones, this is not critical race theory. Because that's your ass there with a whole bunch of angry white men there too. I'm sure they weren't there to say hello, welcome to our school. No, they were there to bully, like all you Americans are bullies. They're bullies. Sick old bullies. And you know what? Everybody wants the bully to go first. I do too. Go first, America. America first. I saw that clown in SeaTac Airport. Did you all see it? The other day. Straight up giving Nazi salutes. Now, you're lucky I wasn't in SeaTac at the time. I love SeaTac Airport. Although they don't have a lot of chargers there. Charging stations. You know, they say it's the worst airport in America. When you've been to a lot of airports, you know. For Seattle, it could be a lot better. But he was in there doing that Nazi shit. And I said, I know they have a Starbucks. You listen to me. I said, I know they have a Starbucks at SeaTac. You're lucky I'm not there. Or I wasn't there. Because I would have ordered from the barista. I would have said, hey, can you make me a latte? Extra, extra, extra hot. And I would have walked over there. And I would have made the news. Because as he was doing that clown shit, I would have poured it in his face. And said, I thought this melts Nazis. You bring that shit here. Hey, you listen to me. I know we don't have very much time left together, but you bring that here. And the little time that we do have left together, oh, it's going to be intimate. Real intimate. What do the kids say nowadays? Fuck around and find out. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. All of that shit and more. We don't have very much time left. And we've established the fact that we hate each other. You know, they say, we hate you. I say the feeling's mutual. It's not like I like you either. So that we can agree on. We've come to a consensus. We hate each other. And we don't have very much more time left with each other anyway. And everybody likes to see us fight. And I've kind of been longing to go out in a fight. You know, they say no guns, no glory, bang, bang. America is all about the guns, right? Okay. If we want to speed it up and end it before December, you'll get no objections from me. Let me know if you want to speed it up. We'll go. Everybody says we hope it goes to the end of December though. They at least want 1 month of this bullshit. 1 more month. But if Americans, if you want to speed it up, let me know. Holler at me. We can definitely end it December 1st. And not the 31st. We don't have to wait. Withdrawal, surrender, and defeat. When it's inevitable, lose graciously. Surrender isn't that bad. And defeat. Remember, we defeated ourselves. Lincoln said, a house divided cannot stand. And they say he saved the Union. He brought the Union back together. They don't tell you what Lincoln really said, though. He said all of that, but he also said the Union wouldn't make it. That people in America, Americans can't live with other Americans. He wanted the United States Marines to transport all black Americans to Liberia. They don't tell you all of that in school now, do they? Maybe that's considered critical race theory. I don't know. It's coming to an end anyway. They can call it whatever theory they want. It's American history. Americans don't like their own history. Americans don't like their own photos. Americans say they're curious in photos 15 years ago. 63 days and years later. They were just curious. Rittenhouse was curious too when he went to Kenosha, right? He was a medic. The murdering medic. Explain that. He's 17, right? 2 years a little bit older than Jerry at that picture. He's a medic. A medic that travels to another state, admits he's going into a hostile situation, steals a gun from his friend's home, and ends up murdering 2 people. Sounds about American to me, right?